Welcome to But Frankly Pierce News. I'm Arthur Fairview.
What the heck was that?
Probably those Russian hackers again. I'll fix it.
Now, without further interruption, welcome to But Frankly Pierce News. I'm Arthur Fairview. Recently, a history-making event took place in Charlottesville, Virginia. A statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee was hoisted away from its place of prominence in Lee Park.
I thought it was Emancipation Park.
Nope. Market Street Park.
It was removed from the Charlottesville Park and carted off to storage. Years after its threatened removal became a rallying point for white supremacists and inspired their violent 2017 rally that left one woman dead and dozens injured. You remember this.
One person is dead and 19 injured after a speeding vehicle drove into a group of protesters marching peacefully through downtown Charlottesville.
Your impression that this was deliberate, or did the person seem to...
100%.
There's absolutely no way.
He was going so fast, it flew people like 10 feet and nailed those two cars forward.
This comes after a day of clashes between alt-right protesters and counter-demonstrators earlier this morning. For over an hour, demonstrators dispensed tear gas and threw water bottles with little interference from police. The rally was shut down after the governor declared a state of emergency.
Failed former President Donald Trump, who was in office at this time, responded with this interesting statement from his golf club when he was briefed on the situation.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides.
Didn't he get called out on that?
Yes. Yes, he did.
The media jumped on the statements he made, forcing a very memorable response from Trump, especially when a reporter pointed out that it was neo-Nazis that had started the violence.
Neo-Nazis started this. They showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as neo, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
Scores of spectators lined the blocks surrounding the park where the Lee statue had stood since the 1920s, and a cheer went up as it was lifted off the pedestal.
Statue waving through the air to applause from the crowd before being placed on a flatbed truck and hauled to city storage.
Charlottesville Mayor Nakuya Walker gave a speech in front of the reporters and observers as the crane neared the monument.
Our community battles with the falsities that have created to enshrine and preserve whiteness as supreme. Taking down this statue is one small step closer to the goal of helping Charlottesville, Virginia, and America.
What was left out of this video clip was the end of Mayor Walker's point, which I will quote for you now. Taking down this statue is one step closer to the goal of helping Charlottesville, Virginia, and America grapple with the sin of being willing to destroy Black people for economic gain.
Curious that they would cut that there.
Yes. Most curious.
The removal of the statue follows years of contention, community anguish, and litigation. A long, winding legal fight, coupled with changes in a state law that protected war memorials, had held up the removal for years. Now, once again, history was made. There is so much that has happened recently. It can be difficult to truly reflect on all of it.
I want to know absolutely everything that's happened up to now.
Well, let's see. First, the earth cooled, and then the dinosaurs came. But they got too big and fat, so they all died, and they turned into oil. And then the Arabs came, and they bought Mercedes-Benzes. And Prince Charles started wearing all of Lady Di's clothes. I couldn't believe it.
Not what I had in mind. But history is happening every day, and sometimes something significant happens to help remember an event, even one as tragic and painful as the January 6th insurrection. This is Andy Kim, the representative of New Jersey's 3rd District. Mr. Kim bought a blue wool suit off the rack during the 2020 post-holiday sales. J. Crew, cobalt blue, standard cut. We look forward to wearing the suit to President Biden's inauguration on January 20th.
Are we covering fashion now?
I must have missed that memo.
Congressman Kim also wore his new suit to work in the halls of Congress on January 6th. He was on his way to the House chamber around 1 p.m. that day when the U.S. Capitol was invaded by a mob trying to overturn the election by force.
Yes, we know.
Kim made it back to his office, where he and his staff barricaded their doors. They stayed there for 8 hours until the Capitol had been secured and Congress resumed its constitutional duties after a foiled insurrection.
Are you going somewhere with this?
Kim was quoted as saying, "It was the most emotional experience I've ever had on any job." And before being elected Congress, Kim worked under both Republican and Democratic administrations at the Pentagon, State Department, and the National Security Council.
She's been around a bit, eh? Been around?
Once the Capitol was cleared, people emerged from their offices and hiding places to survey the damage. Congressman Kim did a bit more. AP photographer Andrew Harnick came across him and took pictures of Kim on his knees, cleaning up after a mob that tried to disrupt democracy. These photos were seen around the world, perhaps because he wore a face mask. He became known as the Blue Suit on social media.
I wonder how Fairview would look in a blue suit.
Kim got tweets, cards, and letters from people who said his pointed, simple response gave them hope. Kim stated, "There was broken glass when I got to the rotunda, garbage, litter, bottles, and cigarette butts people put out on the statues. I felt heartbroken. The Capitol is a physical form of Article 1 of the Constitution, all legislative powers vested in a Congress. So I found a roll of trash bags, got down on my knees, and just started trying to clean up the place I love."
Okay, that's deep.
He wore the suit once more a week later to vote for the impeachment of Donald Trump. "The dust of my cleaning up was still on my knees. And then I put the suit back in the closet. I didn't want to see it again," said Kim.
Well, that's understandable.
That's when the Smithsonian National Museum of American History called to ask for the blue suit as an artifact of what happened on January 6th. Kim said he was glad to hand it over for the display. He hopes his sons will see it there one day. He says he'll tell them, "When something you love is broken, you fix it." This is particularly relevant as the House Select Committee began hearing testimony on the January 6th insurrection. While Republicans stonewall and grandstand, U.S. Capitol Police Sergeant Harry Dunn offered a plea to the bipartisan committee to get to the bottom of what happened.
Officers, we would do January 6th all over again. We wouldn't stay home because we knew it was going to happen. We would show up. That's courageous. That's heroic. So what I ask from you all is to get to the bottom of what happened. And that includes, like, I echo the sentiments of all of the other officers sitting here. I use an analogy to describe what I want as a hitman. If a hitman is hired and he kills somebody, the hitman goes to jail. But not only does the hitman go to jail, but the person who hired them does. There was an attack carried out on January 6th, and a hitman sent them. I want you to get to the bottom of that.
This has been But Frankly Fierce News. Thanks for watching. I'm Arthur Fairview. And those who hold high places must be the ones who start to mold a new reality, closer to the heart, closer to the heart.